Hello everyone, welcome back to Petite Wreath Boutique. Today I'm showing you how to make this pumpkin door hanger. Get ready for the fall. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe and like button. So first of all, let's go for the materials. We will need this pumpkin wired wreath frame, some yarn. I chose like a natural color to match the theme. Some leaves, these are the maple leaves in two different colors, more like a natural tone, light tone, and then another, what's like orange and brownish. Berry picks, also two different type of colors, little pumpkins, and those in three different colors, like a light, a darker orange, and a mustard. And when you put all the picks together, you can see kind of like the colors are coming together. And ribbon, I chose three different kinds, the orange bird with a pattern on it, and a beige one. You will need a floral wire, which I will put on my pro bow, the hand, to create the main bow, scissors to cut the ribbon, wire cutters for the floral, hot glue gun, very important for this creation, and grapevine garland to create something to attach the leaves, a stapler, little picks for the little bows, and a floral wire to attach the garland. So let's start with preparing the wreath frame. For that matter, I chose to just do the outer ring first and then do the inside. I used some hot glue on the cut edge of the yarn to prevent fraying, that it unravels itself, and then just a dip to get the start in. Once I attached the beginning, I just used some hot glue along the wired wreath frame. And I wanted to make sure that the yarn doesn't get squished. So I didn't want it. It has like that poofy pattern, and I like that a lot. So I wanted to make sure I'm putting it gently on the wreath frame, not pushing it down, so that the poofy look will continue to stay. I did 3 layers of that yarn for each bar, the outside as well as the inside bars. The only thing I did not layer 3 times was the stem. So you continue to put on the hot glue and then some yarn, and then hot glue again and the yarn, and until you have the whole frame covered. For the next layer, I just used some hot glue right on the yarn and then moved around the reframe and attach it right to the yarn, which was already attached. For the third layer, I put the yarn in between the two yarns which are already attached to the reframe. For the inside bars, you repeat the same step. I did 3 layers. I attached some hot glue to the cut yarn piece and then kind of dipped it onto the outer ring with the already attached yarn, and then just covered the bars of the whole pumpkin wreath frame 3 times each. Now it's time to attach the grapevine garland to have a base for the floral picks to attach them to the wreath frame. For that matter, I measured it. It was 8 inches, but was enough. So it's kind of like from the middle, the 4 bars, the inner bars from the pumpkin wreath frame. And you repeat that step, measuring 8 inches each of that grapevine garland 4 times, so you have a decent base to put the pigs in between the garland base. After cutting off all the garland pieces, you need to attach them to the wreath frame. For that matter, we are using floral ribbon that I prefer to use in the same color as the grapevine garland to kind of camouflage it a little bit. And so the beginning of the cut, you go around a couple times to make sure it's tightly and it doesn't unravel. And when you think you have the decent amount, it's tight enough, you use that wire and go across the length of the garland to attach it completely. And I would recommend to take a long enough piece to cut a long enough piece off, not like me. I needed to attach another piece. Once you're done with raveling it around, you kind of shove the end into the existing grapevine, and I like to put a dip of hot glue on it just to make sure it doesn't unravel itself. And then I cut off the ends of the grapevine. Now it's time for the floral pigs, and those leaves, aren't they pretty? So the fall means it's getting colder and we are preparing for the winter, but I'm a season person. I love the colors in the fall. So I appreciate all these warm tones in different shades. So yes, I'm very happy with those colors and those pretty leaves. I cut them pretty small. I didn't leave a long stem since the pumpkin and the way the pumpkin wreath is shaped and the way I imagined it to be. I wanted to have the leaves on the bottom and still leave space on the top for the ribbon. So I didn't leave a long stem on those and cut them down almost leaf by leaf. To attach the floral picks, the leaves to the grapevine garland, you just put a dip of hot glue on the end and push the leaf into the grapevine in between the picks. And for the arrangement, I mentioned before, I just left it at the bottom. So I wanted in the middle pumpkins. I imagined those pumpkins being there already. That's why I arranged the leaves on the left and on the right. And you work cohesively. If you put some leaves to the left, you put some leaves to the right. I try to color match it for the most part, so I didn't want just light leaves on the left and dark leaves on the right, but I also paid attention to the size to make sure it does, yeah, it does look cohesive. The berry picks aren't those lovely? So I decided to put in two berry picks on each side and just one of each color. These are the little pumpkins I was talking about, which I wanted to have in the center of this floral arrangement. And I tell you what, they were giving me a hard time to stick. You need to put hot glue on it and hold on to it. And I don't know why. I used those before and they were working just fine. But I don't know, some of these didn't want to stick this time. So just make sure you put enough hot glue on it and hold on to it until you can kind of feel that if you let go, it doesn't pop off. It's time to create the main bow. And for this, I used that or burnt orange ribbon with that white pattern on it. And it reminded me of my parents' furniture in the 90s with the Bauhaus furniture. It had that pattern. So I love that rocking chair. I guess maybe that's why this ribbon was speaking to me. So I put the ribbon into a dowel to hold it up for me. I have two dowels in the middle and I put the floral wire in between. I measure the left side, the tail, 5.5 inches, and I wanted to make sure it's not going to be too big on the pumpkin reframe. So it was the tail to the left. I started with 5.5 inches, and then started the loops with 5 inches. 5 inches on each side. You gather in the middle, you give it a twist, and you put it in between the dowels. And to create this dome effect, you go down 1/2 inch for each loop, meaning after two loops, one on each side of 5 inches, I made a 4.5 inch on each side now. And so on. I ended up having four loops on each side. So it was 5 inches, 4.5, 4, and 3.5. And I ended up just cutting another tail of 5.5 inches. I did not make a button because I wanted to put a pumpkin as a button, if that makes sense. It will once the ribbon is on the pumpkin. So, since this is patterned, you need to make sure that you give that ribbon a little twist. So the pattern side is on the top and showing when you create the bow. Cutting off 5.5 inches here as well. And now we need to gather the ribbon. You just take both sides of the floral wire, twist it, and push it down. Take it off the bow maker and get it even tighter and twist again. So there's one twist on the top and 2 to 3 twists on the bottom. so the bow is nice and tightly, and then you can put it on your reframe. By creating and attaching those bows, we are covering the end pieces of the yarn, and we have the floral on the bottom. I think it's a great addition and makes it look way more clean. So you just put the floral wire with the bow on it where you would like to have it, give it another few twists, cut off the excessive wire, and then attach the wire, like the ends, make sure they're not sticking out, and secure it. So, I mean, you don't want to be poked by that wire. So, I decided to make ducktails. For that matter, I needed to take the tails and fold it in the middle, and then you give it a triangle cut. You want to make sure that the long side is the outside of the ribbon, and you have the one triangle piece in the middle of the ribbon, if that makes sense. Opening the ribbon is a fun, really fun step. So for that matter, I put my hand into the loop and spread my fingers a little bit. And if you have a wired ribbon like I used here, the ribbon stays where you want it to have. And there's no right or wrong how you arrange it. It just needs to speak to you. And once I finished that step of opening the ribbons, I glued that pumpkin I was talking about, what I wanted to use as a sort of a button in the middle of those ribbon loops and tails. After the main bow, only the two little bows on each side are missing. For the little ribbon bundles, I used that burnt orange, the same color, just without a pattern. And I just cut two pieces off. As you can see, that's how kind of like I wanted it to be folded. So I cut off two pieces with 12 inches each. And if you have a mat, these squares in the middle are really fantastic. My biggest square is 12 inches. So I cut off, again, two 12-inch pieces. And then you just have to, when you do the folding method like I did, you just have to cut the end piece. Then I used the beige one, and for the beige one, I wanted to have 10 inches each and two on each side, meaning four total. It will make more sense once we are putting the ribbon together. And I'm really sorry for everyone who can hear that constant snoring noise in the background. That's my dog taking a nap on my lap. I have the noise cancellation on, and you can still hear it through the microphone, so you can imagine how loud he snores. So very sorry for that. Once all your ribbon pieces are cut into the right length, we are creating bows with the stapler. And for that, we are just folding the freshly cut ribbon pieces in the middle and overlapping them with the beige ones. And I created like an X pattern and then used the stapler and push through right in the middle. I use two staples just to make sure it stays stable. Then you ruffle it in the middle, and the little floral wire pieces we do have, you can cut like a big one in half. You could also use pipe cleaners if you would like to. And we are doing the same thing. We're creating a loop, kind of like a U shape, and then we pull it tightly on the back of it and twist it a little bit. And then you can attach it to the pumpkin. You just put it on the reframe, give it a few twists in the back. And depending on how long your wired the wire you used is, you cut off the excessive part, or like in my case, it was small enough so I could just hide it. And then you do it the same thing with the other bow. Same thing with these bow bundles. I did not want to create a button. I wanted to glue on another pumpkin. And here I decided to use the mustard colored ones. So I opened up that ribbon and then put the hot glue onto the little pumpkin and glued it in the middle of the ribbon. So this is how this fall pumpkin wreath turned out, and I love it. It was so much fun to make with all these beautiful fall colors. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please leave me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. See you next time.